Wow, welcome everybody to HaloHalo. My name's PJ and we got a special guest today, the beautiful, we have the pageant queen, Miss Earth Canada 2022, Jessica Cianchino. Introduce yourself to everyone.
Hi everyone, it's so nice to be here. Of course, PJ is a really good friend of mine, so I'm really excited for tonight's show.
Yes, and this show is all about having fun, and we play games, which you'll be playing later on in the show. But we'd just like to get to know her because it's a big year, 2022, and the pageant is still up in the air for you. Yeah. So let's just get to know you. When did you start, being in pageantry? When did you first get involved?
Yes, so recent, actually pretty recent, 2017. Prior to that, growing up, I was always involved in sports like soccer and karate and modeling, of course. But my mom really sparked my interest in pageantry as she really informed me that you can get involved in your community and also be an advocate for any issue that you feel strongly about. So she kind of pushed me towards pageantry, and I'm so happy she did. And I feel like that's one of my favorite things about pageantry is being able to voice out certain things instead of just modeling and being a pretty face.
And you're not just a pretty face, you have certain initiatives that you really are involved in.
Yes,
would you like to mention any?
Yeah, so I'm the Executive Director and Ambassador of Mental Health for YPAM, that is the Youth and Parents Association of Markham, and we're just a nonprofit organization in Markham, and we host various events and initiatives to raise awareness for mental health and, of course, boost academic programs and things like that, yeah.
And you've been a part of a lot of different pageants, right? You went overseas for Miss Asia Pacific International, right?
Yes.
Are there any memories that stick out in particular about being in pageants in general? Yes,
well, ever since I've been competing locally and internationally, there's so many, it's so hard to pick just one. From traveling all over, like you said, Philippines, when we won, we got to travel all over Philippines and of course meet so many amazing women from all across the world. So now if I visit those countries, I have like little friends. But I think the most memorable thing for me is that my mother and my nanay, my grandmother, and my aunt, my ninang, are always there with me through every step of the way since I started locally to internationally. So that's one constant in my life that I could always count on, and I think that's what makes pageantry most memorable for me.
I know when I talk to some pageant girls as well, it's almost like a sport, right? You have it's a competition, you have your audience,
you have a team.
You have a team, right? When you're up on stage, can you hear your family cheer for you? Do you hear their voices?
100%. Yeah, I think that helps a lot. It boosts up your energy, and my cousin always makes like weird comments or jokes, and then I genuinely laugh and I look like I'm having a good time on stage, right? So I think that support system is super important for competing in anything like sports or pageants.
Just a curious question of mine. Has there been a question that you really like, oh my gosh, I'm surprised they asked that, or like, oh, if that was me, I'd be so stumped. Was there any questions that really threw you off?
Yeah, well, not for me personally, thank God, but I have heard other women get questions that are very political, like if you were the vice president or if you were a member of cabinet, and I think those questions would scare me or intimidate me just a little bit because I really focus on humanitarian efforts and community service, and I don't get involved in politics. Of course, beauty queens should not get involved in politics. So I think those kind of questions intimidate me a little bit, but of course with training, the right training, you'll be able to answer them.
Yeah, you navigate the question and kind of like smoothly talk about what you want.
Exactly, be very biased and just supporting, both sides or be in the middle.
Going into your initiative about mental health, and since you've been a part of a lot of mental health, events or initiatives, can you talk to us about just a misconception about mental health or something that you always hear about mental health that you kind of want to maybe have your personal take about it?
So I think the biggest thing for me is that some people don't think that the conversation of mental health applies to them. And I think it's so important to note that you don't have to be suffering from a mental illness in order to experience difficulties with your mental health, right? Everybody has a few bad days, and that just means that mental health is important to everyone, just like physical health, and we should have regular checkups. Just like you go to the doctor and you check how you are physically, you should definitely be checking up on yourself mentally. So I think everyone is involved in this conversation.
And being a part of like pageantry in general, it's kind of a tough, like mentally as well. You got to be poised. Like you're very poised right now. You're very articulate. How do you stay calm? You know, especially when I think of Q&A, I'm nervous. Someone asks me a question, I'm nervous. But how do you, you know, regulate yourself? How do you become and calm yourself down whenever there's, you know, anxiety around?
Yeah, I think this is an important question for anyone that competes or maybe presents on stage. I think it's important to get out of your head, and whatever that means for you, meditating or just being aware of your surroundings and really being grounded. For me personally, praying has helped me a lot. When I'm on stage, I'm constantly praying. When I'm off stage, I'm constantly praying. So it really helps me get out of my head and realize that there is a bigger picture involved. It's not just about me, and that whatever is meant to be, it's God willing, right? So,
is there any specific advice that your mom tells you all the time, or a phrase that she says always to you before you get on stage and you compete?
Yeah, well, not a specific phrase, but I think, I mean, my mom is watching me right now, but hi mom. She's always there with me, and I think something that she's always said to me ever since I was younger was when I was modeling and I would be too shy or uncomfortable, she'd be like, okay, let's just go home then. We won't do this, like tough love kind of thing. So I think that really taught me that, okay, if I'm gonna be here, I'm gonna give my 100%. I'm not gonna just give 50%, 75%. So I think that's what I really learned from my mom is if you're gonna do something, fully commit to it and try your best, because otherwise, what's the point, right?
Absolutely, and I want to see that spirit when we play the game, the random game we've made. But before we end, obviously we could talk for hours or minutes or whatever.
And we definitely will after this show.
So let's play a quick this or that. So I'll just ask you a quick question and you just give me a quick response, okay?
Okay, awesome.
What song are you currently listening to on repeat? What's in your head right now?
I Hate You, SZA.
Can you do a sample? Oh, it's all on TikTok.
But you guys know the song. I hate you.
Okay. One word to describe yourself.
Genuine.
Favorite Filipino food?
Adobo.
Oh, adobo. I like adobo too. Favorite food in general?
French fries.
Oh, really? French fries. There we go. All right, that's the this or that. And I guess one last question for any pageant girls that are looking to, you know, compete, because like you said, you're kind of fresh into the scene as well. But there's also girls that look up to other pageant girls in terms of beauty, in terms of poise as well. So what advice would you give to any girl that would be looking in order to compete in pageantry as well?
So I would give, the advice I would give is, first of all, be yourself, be genuine. Don't try to be somebody else, because that does come off as unauthentic. And also the most important thing that I have learned is that you really have to cherish the journey. I know a lot of people look towards the destination and being on stage and representing your country or your city, but I think it's so important to really cherish and smell the roses around you, appreciate the people around you that are helping you, supporting you, and you know, the destination, it goes by in a blink of an eye. So really cherish those small moments of getting to where you are, because it will literally pass you by in a blink of an eye. So yeah, enjoy the small things.
That's it. Life is short, right? You want to enjoy the most of it. Thank you, Jessica. When we come back, we're going to do some sketches, as well as Jessica will be playing a little game for us at the end of the show. Stay tuned, guys.